I've decided to make my foliage look a bit more realistic, and the advice is to use ground foam. I've also been advised that you can make your own as good and very cheaply just by using a normal sort of sponge, normal car sponge. Just got 3 of those for £1, and a wire brush attachment on a drill. Set at a low torque and a low speed. And what you do is you basically feed that onto there and it chews it down. I just had a little crack at it here, little nibble on it, and that's fine. So what I'm going to do now, pop it into a box and feed it onto it. Done about 2/3 of the sponge, and what I've got is lots of very fine pieces, powder, and some larger clumps that just got torn off when I got too thin. So I'm pleased with the look of that so far, but I'm going to try the other way, the other method, which is to put it into a blender. Okay, so I've torn off some small chunks. I'll pop that in and see what we get. Okay, that was a lot easier, a lot quicker. What have we got? Okay, lots of smaller pieces, crumbs. So that'll be quite good for squeezing it together and making bushes and hedges with. It's not particularly fine though, but that might grind down further. We'll carry on and play with this bit left here. If I'm completely honest, I'm not seeing a massive amount of difference between the two methods, so I'm going to stick with the blender until I've done all 3 sponges. I did get lots of finer stuff on the drill one, but that also covered me, and it's all over the floor, and there's a lot of static on it, so it's not ideal. Nor is doing it in a box, because that's effectively wasted. Should have done it in a bucket or something that I could wipe out easier. So all done and whizzed up. I've got loads and loads of ground foam now. Next stage, of course, is to colour it. I've kept it in 2 separate bowls for the simple reason that I'm going to make them slightly different shades. So it'll be a mixture of emulsion and acrylic again. I'll scrunch it up and then see how it looks. Right, so I've sprinkled the emulsion and the acrylic on. A lot of it's sunk down to the bottom so you can't see it. I'm not going to show you mixing it because I've got no effective way of holding this camera, so I'll mix it and then show you. I'm amazed how good it actually looks. It's really good looking. It's got to dry now. I've got the 2 different colours and shades, as you can see. This one's a bit bluer. It's not as blue as it looks in that image. And that's a bit yellower. This has got some red in it, so it's a bit browner as well as bluer. And it's also a bit paler because I've popped some white in. So I've got a nice selection which will all be mixed together ultimately. So this can be sprinkled onto lights, and it can be sprinkled onto itself, or it can be made into a mat. But basically it's a ground cover that's going to look really good when I actually get around to applying it onto the actual layout.